Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is the president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She's also a Nobel Peace Prize winner last year, and she was just awarded in France by President François Hollande the Grand Croix de la Légion d'honneur, France's highest honor. Thank you very much for being on the France 24 interview.
I'm pleased to be here.
I'm going to first ask you your reaction to the re-election of Barack Obama. Obviously, your country, Liberia, has a very special tie with the United States. You've lived there part of your life. What's your reaction?
I am very pleased. Personally, and all Liberians are thrilled and excited about the re-election of President Barack Obama. We believe that this now ensures that anyone in the United States of America can reach their potential, and it's not a one-time thing. The confidence that the American people have shown in his leadership is something that just inspires us, and we look forward to continuing a strong relationship, a very historical and traditional relationship with the United States.
You met with the French president, and probably on the menu today is the situation in Mali. The country is split into two. There are war drums on the horizon, potential intervention by African forces. How do you see the situation there evolving? Do you fear we're going to war?
No, let me say I don't agree with you about war drums. I think we have a situation of seriousness on our hands. The ECOWAS leadership has taken a very strong position about ensuring that the democratic process is restored in Mali, that Mali's territorial integrity is preserved. And even though there have been a decision for military action should it become necessary, but the emphasis right now is on political dialogue. We have an ECOWAS mediator, President Compaoré of Burkina Faso. He and his team have been making a lot of progress, not only trying to get a political census in the south and get the interim government working and moving toward free and fair elections within an agreed period of time, but also they've made progress in the north with some of the rebellious groups there to see if we can have peace prevail. So, while military intervention has been decided, supported by the African Union and the Security Council, we hope that will be a last resort and that the political dialogue will succeed.
Should there be dialogue with any of those groups? There are a variety of groups in northern Mali. Some African heads of state and some Western heads of state have said, we can't discuss with terrorism. We can discuss, for instance, with Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. But do you think there should be discussions with anyone willing to sit at a table?
That is the position of our mediator, and I think ECOWAS supports him in this effort. One must continue dialogue wherever you can. That is the best approach for stability. We know in Liberia the effects of war. We know the damage that can be done from war. And so we support every effort for peace that will avert the chances of going into conflict. Because once you enter conflict, you don't know how it will proceed. You don't know how you'll be able to manage and control it. And then afterward, the results are so profound. And so I just hope in Mali and other of the difficult countries in our sub-region that we'll be able to promote the processes of peace.
So today you're confident war can be averted in Mali?
I feel confident that we can succeed in that.
Okay, talking about another tension zone, Ivory Coast, there's still post-electoral, as it's called, violence, some of it coming from your country, Liberia. There are reports that militias, warlords from Liberia are wreaking havoc, sometimes in neighboring Ivory Coast. There was a report by a group of experts for the United Nations saying that the east of Liberia had become, I'm quoting, a recruitment platform and a rear base with training camps for forces faithful to the previous president, Laurent Gbagbo. What's your response?
As you know, we have common ethnic groups across the border in the Ivory Coast and in Liberia. These are ethnic groups that are really family. They have worked together, they have farmed together, they have moved across. Some of them have been a part of a military force of the past. Some of them have been a part of the political and military force of the current administration. Indeed, many of those who have come across as refugees have not accepted the political status quo in the Ivory Coast. There have been cross-border movements, but I must say that Liberia has been very strong in its effort to ensure that there will be no attack on any of our neighboring countries from Liberian soil. We have reinforced our borders. We have put intelligent forces at work. We have discovered where there have been people, either Liberians or Ivorians, that have engaged in some of these cross-border attacks. We have arrested some. We have extradited some of them. And I'm pleased that Liberia cooperates closely with the Ivorian authorities. We have joint patrol on our borders, the UN peacekeeping force UNMIL on our side, and UNOC on Ivory Coast side work together to be able to ensure that we limit these cross borders. So President Ouattara and I stay in very close contact. Our intelligence forces, our security forces have joint missions to be able to do that. And even though there have been, some problems there, I think because of the close cooperation, we've been able to manage the situation.
So you're denying that Liberia is a safe haven for the anti-Ouattara forces?
Oh, definitely. Liberia is not a safe haven. Liberian territory may have been used by some of these, but we are after them, we discover them, we arrest them, we send them back to the Ivory Coast, and we work with the Ivory Coast government to control it. So no safe haven. We have places like the forest that people try to hide out and create camps to be able to be insurgents, but our forces are totally opposed to that, and they know it.
I want to go back a year. You were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize with two other women. One was a fellow Liberian, is a fellow Liberian, Leymah Gbowee. At the time, you said that maybe she could have a future in politics. She then became a member of the Peace and Reconciliation Commission. She recently resigned and said that the reason why she resigned is nepotism, especially the fact that 3 of your sons have been appointed to prominent positions. What's your response to her?
Enough has been said on that subject. We have addressed the issue of what is perceived to be nepotism. We have said, competent people who carry out my instructions in accordance with my policies of integrity and commitment are people that have a place in Liberia. I do believe that Madame Gbowee will reconsider. We think she has good talents. We think that she can be an asset to Liberia. We think she has a good political future. And, along the way, sometimes we all say things, but we've expressed our confidence that she will return to the reconciliation effort.
But if you say, and you've said this repeatedly, and you've achieved some results, that you want to fight corruption, having your son as the chairman of the National Oil Company at a time when Liberia is striking oil, don't you think that it might be a problem?
Absolutely not. Then you have to define corruption. Corruption is mismanagement of public resources and assets. In this particular case, I'm ensuring that there's full accountability, management, and reform in those cases where public assets are concerned. So the two are quite different.
Last question. For years, you were very lonesome, if I may say. You were the only female elected president in Africa. This is not the case anymore. Joyce Banda became the president of Malawi back in April, and she already made a mark by saying she refused to host an African Union summit because one of the guests would be the president of Sudan, who is indicted by the International Criminal Court. How do you feel about her?
Oh, I feel great about President Banda, and I'm pleased that, you know, when she was elected, one of the first places she visited was Liberia, where we had the opportunity to exchange views, and I was able to share some of my experiences and my challenges with her. I'm pleased we now have two. As you know, I'm in my last term. I'll be going out, so we're now, all women of Africa are now looking to say, you know, we don't want our numbers to be decreased, so we must find other potential, and there are many who will be putting themselves up for public office, who will be running for president. And I'm just hoping in the next 5 years, it would not just be two, that we will see 5 or 6. I sincerely hope so. And I have confidence that many women have this leadership skill and potential and commitment that they will open this glass door that I have broken.
The fact that she's taking a very strong moral position on war crime, do you think it's also a message saying that maybe women are more adamant when it comes to those issues?
I totally endorse that. And I think it's a clear demonstration of women's commitment to peace, women's commitments to equality, and that in women's hands, not only do you have the leadership and the competence, but the integrity and the sensitivity to human needs.
President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, thank you very much for granting an interview to France 24, and thank you all for watching it. Stay tuned here for more news.